Welcome back to my channel, and a special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen. I'm a certified weight loss and nutrition coach who has lost and maintained a 140-pound weight loss. And today is part 2 of a little mini series. Last week I released a video on unhealthy foods that masquerade as healthy foods and why. And in that video, I asked for your feedback if you wanted me to make this into a mini series. So my plan is to make this into a 6-part mini series. I'm going to share with you 60 unhealthy foods that masquerade as healthy foods, and I'll be sharing these over the course of the next few weeks. So make sure you're subscribed and your bell's on so you don't miss the videos. And today we're going to talk about 10 more. So if you're excited, give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not. Again, turn your bell on because you don't want to miss this little mini series. Also, down in the description box, I will link nutrition coaching. Highly recommend those personalized macros and calories. Again, that's what I followed to lose and maintain my 140-pound weight loss, as well as one-on-one coaching for questions, accountability, or to talk with me directly. Links, discounts to my favorite healthy things are also down in that description box. So let's jump into part 2 of unhealthy foods that masquerade as healthy foods and why. So these particular foods, we often think of them as healthy, and there's a lot of reasons why we believe that, but there's a lot of things that we don't know about these foods that actually make these healthy foods really truly unhealthy. So I'm going to share with you 10 more foods today. I'm going to tell you why they're masquerading as healthy foods when they're not. Number 1 is coconut water. Now this is something that we have been told for a long time. I mean, I remember hearing about coconut water back in high school and college and saying how this is so hydrating and good for you, but unfortunately coconut water isn't what it seems. A single cup of Vita Coco, which is one of the most popular coconut waters out there, actually packs 15 grams of sugar. While it's better to sip coconut water than soda, we should be limiting this to 1 to 2 times per week. And if you want to use coconut water in a smoothie, just use a small amount. Number 2, maybe a bit surprising, and this is yogurt. Now we've been told yogurt's really good for you. It has protein, it has probiotics in it, but it all depends on the yogurt you're choosing. You want to, number 1, lean on Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is where you're going to find the protein. Now all yogurt has probiotics and are really great for your gut health, but when we're eating something dairy, something like yogurt that is going to have some sugar naturally occurring and possibly added sugar, we want to make sure that it's Greek yogurt where it has some protein and better yet some fiber. Other flavored yogurts can be loaded with potentially harmful ingredients like artificial colors, artificial flavor, loads of sugar. In fact, yogurts like regular red carton of Yoplait can have as much sugar in it as ice cream. And I don't know about you, but if I'm going to eat that much sugar, I'd rather it be ice cream. So make sure that you're reaching for a lower sugar Greek yogurt. On the nutrition label, you want to look at added sugars, not total sugars, because yogurt dairy is going to have naturally occurring sugar. That's very different than added sugar. So you want to look at the added sugar, and you want that to be 0 to very, very minimal. And remember, some of the flavored yogurts out there have as much sugar as a scoop of ice cream. Number 3 is flavored oatmeal. Now, oatmeal is a fantastic choice as a whole grain. There's fiber in there. It's got a lot of delicious whole grains, but again, it depends on the oatmeal that you're choosing. You are much, much, much better off just using regular rolled oats and making your own flavored oatmeal. Those little packets can be loaded with sugar. The Quaker maple and brown sugar, which is one of the most popular little packets of oatmeal, actually has 12 grams of added sugar. Again, you can make it at home. You can make overnight oats, you can make oatmeal. Just start with regular rolled oats and add things like fruits and nuts and seeds of a little bit of honey. Make it at home so you can limit the amount of added sugar. Not to mention what's in those little packets is like this much oatmeal. Definitely not going to keep you full. Again, you're better off making it at home. Number 4 is acai bowls. Now, to be fully honest, I've never had an acai bowl because I know that they are loaded with sugar. There's literally no protein or very little protein in these, so it's kind of just a sugar bomb. They're very, very high in calories and very high in sugar. And a lot of times acai bowls use belly bloating yogurts instead of actual smoothies. So if you're going to have an acai bowl, and you go to a fun little bowl place, make sure that there's not a lot of added sugar. Watch your calories. Some of these acai bowls can be upwards of 600 to 700 calories. Again, you can make it at home if you want to control what's going into it. Number 5, dried fruit. Now, I love dried fruit, but where we can get into trouble is the added sugar. Again, fruit is going to have naturally occurring sugar. So if you buy let's say a packet of dried apricots, and you flip it over and you look at sugars, there's going to be sugar in there. There's sugar in apricots. It's the added sugar that we want to watch. And we also want to watch the ingredient label to see, again, if there's added sugar and if they're using any oils. A lot of times dried fruit will also have sulfate, so you want to look for that on the label. Trader Joe's actually makes some really great dried fruit without added sugar. Now, if you can find one that's simply just dried fruit, it's just like eating, I would recommend that. Again, watch the added sugar to see if there's any oils and no sulfates. Number 6 is a sushi roll, and this is the spicy tuna roll. This is one of the rolls that people gravitate towards because tuna is extremely high in protein. These can also be really high in calories. Also, with a spicy tuna roll, you are going to have a lot, and I mean a lot, of saturated fat. And that's because the sauce used in spicy tuna rolls is typically mayonnaise based. And any type of mayonnaise based sauce is going to have a lot of calories and a lot of saturated fat. In fact, spicy tuna rolls can have twice as many calories as traditional tuna rolls. So if you want the rice and the tuna, definitely get a traditional tuna roll. And when you're out for sushi, watch the menu for mayonnaise based rolls. These are the ones you may want to stay away from, or just limit the amount that you're consuming. Number 7 may be a bit of a surprise, and this is baked potato chips. We think we're doing the right thing eating baked chips rather than regular chips, but are we? Granted, they're not as high fat as their deep fried counterparts, but baked chips aren't all they're cracked up to be. They typically have a lot more sodium to make up for their lack of fat. I've talked a lot about low fat, fat-free foods. In order for them to taste good, companies, brands, they put in a lot of weird things because if they don't taste good, we're not going to eat them. And that's the case with baked chips. They're going to pack up the sodium so that they actually taste good. And because they're deemed as healthy, we can easily convince ourselves to eat more of them. So just get regular potato chips and eat less of them. Or if you are going to get the baked chips, be mindful of your serving size. I mean, be mindful of your serving size with all chips. Next up is vegetable oil. Now, oils in general get a bad rap, but there are some really healthy oils out there, but unfortunately, the affordable vegetable oil is not one of them. Vegetable oil, hydrogenated oil, which basically means that it's loaded with unhealthy saturated fat. This can actually be detrimental on your bad cholesterol and put you at risk for heart disease. Gravitate towards things like really good quality olive oil and avocado oil, and stay away from vegetable oil and a lot of the seed oils out there. Number 9, and this is something that I consume daily, and that is protein shakes. Again, similar to yogurt, it's all about the protein shake that you're choosing. Some protein shakes can be way more common to a milkshake than you may think. A lot of protein shakes are loaded with belly bloating dairy and a lot of added sugar. And really, the sugar-free ones aren't much better. They contain a lot of artificial sweeteners and flavors. Now, there are some protein shakes that you can make at home that are much healthier. If you're interested in hearing about some of those options, definitely let me know. But if you're like me and the pre-made protein shakes, protein powders are convenient for you, just be mindful of how often you're having them. I personally limit myself to 2 protein supplements per day. That's going to be shakes, bars, powders, etc. I try to get the rest of my protein every day from real food. And again, just preventing all of those artificial sweeteners, lots of added sugar, colors, all the bad stuff that you can often find in protein shakes. And number 10 may also come as a bit of a surprise, and this kind of goes hand in hand with gluten-free that we talked about last week, and that is low carb snacks. Just because something is labeled low carb and just because something is labeled gluten-free doesn't make it healthy. Let's talk about sugar-free cookies, pork rinds, bunless double cheeseburgers, etc. At the end of the day, and really all you need to know is junk food is still junk food, whether it has carbohydrates or not. It's better to eat a balanced meal and avoid low carb snacks. Again, they're very, very processed, and just because they're labeled as low carb doesn't make them healthy. And also, a lot of the marketing ploys these days say low net carbs. Net carbs are irrelevant. It's total carbs that really matter. The only people that care about net carbs are people who follow a ketogenic diet, and a ketogenic diet is not healthy or sustainable. So we don't care about net carbs. We care about total carbs. So even those low carb tortillas, they're not low carb. And carbs are not bad. It's about choosing the right carbs. And again, just because something is labeled low carb doesn't make it healthy. So those are 10 more unhealthy foods that actually masquerade as healthy foods. Let me know down below if any of these surprised you. I know as I was putting together this little mini series, a lot of these actually surprised me. And it's nice to know the ins and outs of these foods so you know what to choose and what to avoid. Again, let me know down below if any of these surprised you, and stay tuned for the next part of the mini series, the 3rd video with 10 more foods. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. Again, subscribe, turn your bell on so you don't miss the rest of the series. Down in the description box, again, I will have nutrition coaching as well as links and discounts to my favorite healthy things. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.